Madam Chairman, I'm going to be recording the meeting, and I want to go on record to say that I did check the handicap access, and it is unlocked.
Oh, okay. Not all open, hey?
Well, it's just it's a thing that's going around to other boards. So there's a complaint being made. So.
All right. It's just about 6 o'clock. I'll wait one more minute. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting open. Mr. Kelleher is recording and Mr. Lepak is recording. Don't have minutes from 12:13. We'll have to review those at our next meeting. We have amended minutes from 11/8/23 and 10/11/23 to review. We'll take a few minutes to read through those.
What's going on here? This is the meeting minutes from 10/11/23?
Yep.
Who wrote these?
I rewrote them. I didn't have an electronic copy. Paula had one that you wrote,
So
and we agreed that we were rewriting them.
I don't believe we agreed that we were rewriting them. We agreed that we were going to what was the terminology? Further review.
No, they needed to be rewritten because they weren't compliant with open meeting law. They didn't have all the information. They didn't have, you were missing some items. And because when we reviewed them, we thought they were very inflammatory. So we just tried to cut that down.
Christine, do you remember it that way?
Was this last meeting?
It was the last meeting when
These
it was
were the ones that you did?
this. I guess this is replacing my entire set of minutes. My entire set is being just thrown out.
We didn't have an electronic copy provided.
You can ask for electronic copy if that's all it takes. But if a person, correct me if I'm wrong, but if a person makes the minutes, whether it's the clerk or another board member, and another member wants to make changes to the minutes, it should be done through motions. Like I make a motion.
We made a motion last meeting.
We made a motion last meeting that we would have a further review, and I argued, said, how come I can never get a further review when I ask Christine? It's like, oh yes, you can. And
I don't recall it that way. I know that I wrote in my notes that they needed to be rewritten because they were inflammatory and they were missing elements.
And then I'd like to present this to the board. This is from an expert. It says about the minutes being inflammatory.
Alright, let's read over these in just a minute. Approved.
Who's the expert?
Alex.
Who's Alex? And what are their credentials?
What's that?
Who is Alex and what is their credential?
Yeah, you couldn't be here tonight, but I mean, I could ask him to come if you want.
Go look at something. It's only signed with a first name.
Okay. So present it next time with the last name?
You can do whatever. You can, yeah, with their credentials.
So last name, credentials?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion that we put these off for further review. Because I wasn't given any advance notice of these minutes. And I'd like to take a further review. That's exactly what we did last time when I presented mine.
You didn't give yours ahead of time last time.
Excuse me, are we discussing or are you seconding? You're
Because
seconding?
No, I was discussing, I'm sorry.
does that mean the motion fails?
Didn't get a second.
I'm sorry?
No second, so yes.
Okay, so since the motion is failed, I'd like to have my strong objections noted in tonight's minutes meetings of this situation.
Chris?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to log into my Brookfield account so I can take a look at what I presented to the body. I noticed that, I don't know where you want to put it, but I noticed that I raised the point of order before we started going into the LB. That's all that? I'm sorry, I apologize. Okay.
What are you talking about?
So, when we were in our meeting at the police station, and we went into AOP, you went around the room and said, you know, Chris, do you have anything on Jen? Richard, do you have anything? Do you have anything? You went around them asking each person individually. And when the guy came to Richard, and he started talking about the nuisance trade, or the flyer, I raised the point of order. And I don't see that in here. It was definitely in my minutes that I presented to the board at our last meeting. Because when I tried to explain what my point, first of all, you said no right away. And then when I tried to say what my point was, Mr. Holcraft actually made a
So
ruling.
I see at the bottom of page 3 and at the top of page 4 that you made a point of order stating that the item is not on the agenda.
You say at the bottom of page 3?
It's right at the top of page 4, the sentence.
I see it now. Yeah, I see that. So then I'd like to make a motion that I was not able to make my point. I was consistently interrupted. As my notes, as my meeting minutes clearly states, and I watched the video, I was interrupted within 3 seconds by Mr. Holcraft, and I was interrupted by Rich after I started speaking. I never got to finish saying what my point was. I think
The
it's
point was not taken. I can add that. allowed public comment and noted that residents should be allowed to say what they needed to say to the board. So I can add point not taken.
But I don't think that really covers it, because like if I make a motion,
It's
and
a summary, it's not, you know.
I know it's a summary, but I think it's very important when you have one member that tries to make a motion or makes a point of order and they're interrupted within 2 seconds. Or and then when they try to, they let that other person finish after being interrupted, they're interrupted 3 seconds later and a ruling is made. I think that should be in our rules, that should be in the minutes.
Here's an experience that I've had with you when your point of order is that even before I can respond, you yell it out again, and then you yell it out again. And it's frustrating, so maybe in the future, when you make a point of order, say, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a point of order, and then give me a couple of seconds to respond to you. Going forward.
That's fine, I'll do that from going forward, but with all due respect, all the points of orders I've made have been either shot down with the ruling of immediate no without asking what they are, or just completely ignored.
Well, it should be a point about the rules and.
Correct.
Yeah, and there's no rule that says people can't speak.
There is a rule that says that that we cannot engage with the public on a topic that's not on our agenda.
We can't take action.
We clearly did that night, without question. We debated
It's
this.
not,
We debated this for an hour.
we took no action. And generally, when the public comes to a meeting and speaks, and that is an unanticipated topic. And we can have a discussion, but we can't take an action.
There was 2 things that were on the,
If we feel like the content of the issue requires an immediate discussion, we can do that.
the problem I have with these minutes right here, compared to the ones that I turned in, that meeting at the police station, and let's just get right to brass tacks on this. This is, without a doubt, it was chaotic. People spoke at will. People interrupted each other. People were over-speaking each other. It was rude. It had no decorum whatsoever. And our minutes don't even reflect anything close to that.
I think it was one of the most peaceful discussions
It
back and
actually
forth
was.
ones we've had.
There was no
Actually,
chaos.
For real.
Okay.
Based on what's happened here.
Okay. Well, yeah, of course, based on what happened here, but people are getting physically
I
assaulted
don't
here.
think it was what you just
We're
said.
not gonna go down
Okay,
that rabbit
okay. Well,
Any other comments to the minutes?
Not for me.
are we on the discussion? Was there a motion to approve?
Nope.
All right, I make a motion to approve the 10/11/23 minutes. Can I do both?
Yeah.
And the 11/8/23 minutes.
I'm gonna object to that. I prefer that we do them one at a time, because one, I'm still on page 3 on
Okay,
on
so what
11.8.
are we gonna do first? then?
I'll make a motion to approve the 10/11/2023 minutes.
A second discussion?
Absolutely discussion. I find it appalling and disgusting that I presented this body with a set of minutes that I spent a lot of time, a lot of effort into, and they're being completely disregarded, thrown out, without even a motion by the board, not even seconded. It's just being rewritten, and mine is thrown in the garbage.
Well, that's your opinion. I think inattentive, they were missing things like people's names.
That's your opinion, Madam Chair.
Well, you didn't have the other candidate's opinion, you didn't have the correct time for the start of the meeting. You had a lot of inflammatory commentary.
That's your opinion, Madam Chair.
It is, but it's also a fact.
Right, so the minutes, as a
And
whole.
you even had it highlighted in your copy.
I had highlighted that I had
Missing information.
the time, the exact time we started, the exact time we ended, and the other candidate's name. Those three minor things just have an entire set of minutes just to be thrown
Also
out.
included the budget report information that I provided so that the numbers would be reported so the public could read them.
It's a double standard. If I want anything changed in the minutes, I gotta get a motion, I gotta get it
We're not gonna have
seconded.
an argument.
It's not gonna be an argument, this is the part of the discussion. If I want anything changed in there, even one letter, I've gotta get a motion, a second, and that's to be all in favor. I mean,
So do I, do I have a second?
Right, you do
This
too.
is not open for a
You
long,
do too.
lengthy debate.
You do too, but even Pam with our clerk, when she made the minutes, she sent them over to Maureen, they got edited, and Maureen didn't have to get a second or a motion to edit them, she had some on her own. It's not fit.
You're making up a false statement. The very first set of minutes that she made was her first time doing the minutes, and she had areas of the minutes that she needed input from because she didn't have a video, and she didn't have my notes, and she was confused about a couple of sections of the document. So she sent them to me, and so I am able to edit at that point. What you don't realize is only when she sends it to all of the board members does that become a different story.
Right, so it has your official narrative is basically what it comes down to. We need motions to take anything changed in it. It's
Well, for all year I've been having to serve as both the chair and the clerk. So I was doing the minutes, and so that would have been the same thing.
It's not the same thing, we had a
It
clerk.
is the same thing.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm gonna make my motion again to approve.
No,
We already have
please
motion
take a
before.
vote.
Oh, there's no second.
I
Yes,
seconded
she's already
it.
seconded. We're in the discussion.
I didn't hear that, okay.
So,
So, can I vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
no. So you guys already read the 11-8? Are you waiting for me?
Yeah, we're waiting for you.
Okay, so on page 3, on where it says, Mr. Kelleher responded that he'd love to, and all sincerity the board, to do his God's work. I'd like an explanation. Why is it that we're going to quote what I say word for word, but we don't, when something else is in the other minutes, no, we just want to keep it brief, and we want to just have a summary.
It's not like that.
It does say that.
I thought it was a nice statement that you said.
It doesn't matter if it's nice or not. If this is the path that we're going down, to keep it
Do you hear what he just said?
yes, if this is the path that we're going down, okay? They're saying, okay, we're not.
It's nice or not, like, come on.
No, it doesn't. Because I don't read it that way. I really don't read it that way. I don't read it as being a nice
So what
statement.
are you making a motion to do?
That we're consistent. That's my motion. You can't sit there and say we're going to quote Kelleher
Okay,
word for word.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Same goes for your last minutes. Wait, let's keep
Well,
it-
my last minutes don't matter. They're in the garbage.
Okay.
As a matter
No,
of fact,
I don't think it's inconsistent, because when you do things, you just attack me. So you're asking for consistency, and you want it to be like that, but I'm just saying the statements.
you're just
I mean,
saying
you
this.
did say that statement.
You're just saying the statements. But how about if I'm just saying what you're saying? How about your statements? You know.
We're adding making sure your statement.
Yeah, but
is in
some of
there.
your statements haven't been factually accurate, and it's getting pretty old.
It's still there. Sheesh.
I can make a motion to strike the sentence to make Mr. Kelleher feel better.
That's patronizing. It's not a question to make me feel better.
I don't care about the feeling part. I'll just say, all right, I'll rephrase the motion to strike the sentence that Mr. Kelleher responded that he would love to, and that in all sincerity, the board could be doing God's work.
And I wanted, who's doing the minutes for tonight?
I am.
Okay, then I would like it noted in tonight's minutes.
Hey, is there a second or not?
I'm not,
You don't have to, I'm just asking if there's a second, because we can't go into discussion. Okay. Motion failed.
Is this the night that the fight happened?
yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay. I'm sorry, someone got attacked. Where's that?
Somebody didn't get attacked.
Where's that?
Someone didn't get attacked.
Where is that though?
It's in there,
Am I missing it?
an altercation.
Are these
Which is the same as what Pam had written.
Wait a minute, didn't we already approve these?
You know, we did,
Oh, I think you wanted
Actually, I
a word
need to-
change or something.
hold on, yes, for this set of minutes, Pam, this is the original document that we reviewed at the 12-13 meeting, and there was motions made to make edits. Pam, when she sent it to us at our meeting on the 10th, she had pulled a previous draft that she had made that did not have any of the attendees listed. It didn't, and this I see still has the lack of statement that Mr. Lepak and Mr. Kelleher were recording. So we need to add that. So I'll make a motion to add that information to the document so that it's more accurate.
Second.
Any discussion on that part?
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was the motion?
So, all right, let me just explain that Pam, on our last meeting, had made the edits from the document that we reviewed at the 12-13 23 meeting. She used an incorrect version that she had started to write and edited that, and none of us caught that at the January 10th meeting. So her document that she had was lacking names of attendees, most of the names of the attendees. She only had 2 names there. And she also missed, and I didn't catch that either, that people were recording the meeting, and then some of the content was not there. So I made the edits that were asked to be made at the 12-13 meeting, and then added the missing information.
This is the set of, this is not what Pam wrote though, right? These minutes? These are rewritten, right?
Partly rewritten,
Okay.
because I didn't have, she quit, and I don't have all of the stuff.
But as I understand this, and Christine, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm making a motion.
I'm sorry, what was
I'm
the,
sorry.
you got a motion on the floor, you got a second, we're in discussion, right?
Yeah.
All right, so then I'd like to draw your attention to our last meeting where you guys asked for further review on this first one, and I complained saying you guys never give me a further review. And then when we came up to Pam's one, and I said I want to include it in the minutes, and Mr. Holcraft used profanity towards my way, and you guys said you didn't hear that. And I said,
You only hear what you want to hear.
And I said, oh, well, how about we do a further review?
And I did.
And you said yes.
Yeah, we did.
That's right. So that was the only thing that we had to review. That's the only thing we were trying to change in the minutes. So why are these sets
No,
also
Kevin, you're
rewritten?
forgetting what I said.
Explain.
Right, because we're missing the attendees' names. So we're missing the attendees' names. So we're gonna.
Not just that. And I mean, it's like you're leaving out the part that I added to the discussion, that it was inflammatory and it needed to be rewritten.
So Pam's notes were inflammatory.
No, you're talking.
No, I'm talking about these right here.
Right, the minutes from 11-8 were reviewed at 12-13.
Right.
And we made a couple of edits for her to amend.
Right.
And when she went to make the amendment at our 110 meeting and gave them to us for review, it wasn't just a couple of minor things off. The document that she provided to us was not the document that we reviewed on 12/13. It was a different version. So we inadvertently approved a document that did not even meet compliance with open meeting law.
I'd like to get a copy of those documents.
Go ahead, sure.
Well, I assume you have them, right?
I have the printouts that we have. You get copies every meeting. Where are yours? You're supposed to keep your copies.
I'm talking about, you're saying the copies that
You
Pam...
can take the copy that she circulated at 12/13.
Okay,
Take the copy that you got at 1:10.
they're different.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can review those.
okay, so we're, all
You have them.
right, so we're all on the same page. Okay, and so she has two sets, they're different,
Mm-hmm.
and now this set is edited by you.
Yes, because she resigned. And
I
now
understand
I had to
that.
get the minutes together. Yep.
In light of all of this, where there's two sets of drafts, and there's this set, I would like to make a motion that we put this off for further review, because it sounds like this is very complex, and I'd like to take a look at all three documents at once, and not take up the general public's full night. So I make a motion that we move this over to our next meeting. Because it sounds very complicated.
Fails.
You gotta always get those further reviews, right?
I just want to move on. So.
Okay, so page 3, 1, 2, 3, 5 lines up from the bottom. Mr. Fromm began to harass the chair and use obscene language.
True.
This is inflammatory, it's opinionated, and if we're gonna say that he used obscene language, let's get into it. Why did he use the obscene language?
No, we're not going to go into that.
No, so if I go over there and
We tried to make it as clean as possible. No, we're not going to say what was said.
No, we don't have to say what was said, but he was definitely provoked. He just didn't say out of the blue, just started swearing like a drunken sailor. Why can't we say why he did that?
I saw your video, so I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I don't agree. I think you're reading into it, and
I'm reading into that you mock me for having PTSD.
I'm not here to argue with you. Please stop yelling.
I'm not yelling. This is my natural voice. It's on the loud side.
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the 11/8/2023 minutes.
Second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, this further discussion, I find it appalling that this body is going to have two separate sets of minutes from a clerk, and they will not take the time to do a further review, as you guys promised. And you also promised that you do a further review to put in what happened with Mr. Holcraft. You were throwing profanities at me, but that's just thrown out the window. So I think it's sad.
You know what I think is appalling? I think that there are several boards in this town that have not done their minutes for a very long time and are approving minutes from years ago, and they have no way of knowing whether what was said or not on those minutes. They're just approving minutes that were written years ago by other people.
What does that have to do with us?
It has everything to do with us. You're saying how it's appalling that you have two sets of minutes. Well, we have records of these minutes, and you review them every time. Lost the clerk, the minutes are due, and I don't want to be out of compliance. And I took a lot of time myself. I take a lot of time on every set of minutes that we write, and I look at them carefully.
Right. I spent days writing up my minutes, and they're thrown in the garbage.
So,
you know what? I want my drafts included in the documents as by law required. There are documents.
I have my copy. That's the only copy I received.
Christine has a copy. I give you a copy. I give the clerk a copy. I'll be more than happy to give you a copy. Under the law, any document that a board member sees during an open meeting has to be included in our minutes.
You have received a copy. You always have your copies. And I received your copy. And that's the only copy. I don't have an electronic copy of it, but that's the only copy I have of it, and I have retained it, yes, as I'm supposed to, as you are supposed to, and as Christina's supposed to.
When I'm saying this on my town government, I'd like that document to be a downloadable document, just like our other documents are. And if that means that you need it in electronic format, I'll be more than happy to send another copy over to the BOH email or your email, whichever you prefer.
We can put non-approved minutes.
It says draft on it, yeah, right.
We can, but I'm not agreeing.
You're not going to agree to
Well,
that? Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't put everything up there, but we have to retain them, so,
Right, it's the law.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
So the next topic is nominate a backup animal inspector. The reason we need a backup animal inspector is because Steve Novak has a farm and livestock and cannot inspect himself. So I had previously been the backup animal inspector, and I'm just too busy to do that. Clarence Snyder has offered to be the backup animal inspector, and he was provided with the form from the state. And this board just needs to nominate him. He is also asked to not be paid, as I was not paid. He just wants to do this as a volunteer to the town. And so I would like to make a motion that we nominate Clarence Snyder to be the backup animal inspector so that he can inspect Steve Novick's farm.
Second.
Any further discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next topic, Pam Woodbury resigned on Monday. So we need to post the job opening again. And I'll put in a a newspaper posting as well as a copy at the post office of the job description. We just need it added to the website. And I put here, to talk about the delegation of duties to board members for interim and or hire an interim clerk until a permanent position can be filled. I'd like to try to pursue both of these. In the meantime, to spread out some of the duties to the board members, as well as see if there's some possibility to be able to hire an interim clerk from another town.
I'd like to make a motion to have you, Maureen, take over payroll and minutes in the interim.
I'll second that.
Are we gonna do it?
And Chris, you got the website? You gotta add it to the website?
Are you amending the motion?
No, sorry, that was just me adding that.
So I'm sorry, your motion was to have Maureen do the minutes in the budget, or the payroll?
No,
rather?
turnovers and payroll.
Turnover payrolls. Is Maureen gonna be doing anything else?
I threw in the minutes in there.
Maybe,
Can I just say it over?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that in the interim, Maureen does the payroll, the minutes, and Chris continue the website. I can volunteer myself to do email.
Okay.
That's my motion.
So I'll state the motion. I'll second your motion. And it's, Christina makes a motion that in the interim, that the chair will do the payroll and turnover, because turnover has to go too.
Okay, yeah.
And turnover and the minutes. Chris will continue to do the website,
Mhm.
and you'll take over the emails from the clerk.
Mhm.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, this discussion, are these all the tasks that we have, or are we missing tasks?
No, most of the other tasks are assigned to the agents, and then I'm already the chair doing the chair duties, so
It's just hopefully
hopefully very temporary.
What about the transfer station?
Well, the board oversees the transfer station,
And she's got
and
payroll.
Jim is the manager of the transfer station.
So you're doing payroll for transfer station too?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's payroll.
Okay. You sure you don't want me to do the minutes?
No, because it seems like it's an issue.
I'm good with the
Folks
motion.
sign the
I mean, you-
paper and the website.
All right, so any other discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Chris?
I said aye.
Right, can you work with IT to get access to the email and computer?
That's Jacob.
Jacob,
Do you have access to the computer?
none of us have it, because it was Kim, really for the clerk.
Here you go. That's the password.
Is there a username?
Nope.
Is this for the email?
That's for the computer. In the computer, I haven't access to the computer. You should have access to the emails unless Pam logged out or,
It'll have to be a new password, and Outlook should not be on that computer in order to keep the email password secure with having multiple users, because if Outlook is installed in the computer, then anyone turning on the computer can read the emails, and we already went through this issue. So IT had removed Outlook from the computer, so the way to log into email is by using the online version, where you have to log in every time, and then it's logged out as soon as you leave the window.
I thought the Attorney General already made a ruling on that.
No.
Okay, I'll forward that email.
No, what they said is not necessary, but they have not made a ruling, Chris.
All right, I'll forward.
All the complaints are already still under for determination.
I'm not talking about opening all complaints. I'm talking about the determination of 3 board members sharing.
They
one
didn't make a determination because it wasn't, they just said not necessarily, because there are some circumstances where people do share.
I will forward the email that they gave me.
I have
Maybe
the email, I read it thoroughly.
the email that I sent to the Attorney General, you read it thoroughly?
I have responses from the Attorney General on my end.
Okay, I'll send you what I have.
I don't need it because they have not made a determination
Okay.
for our question.
So, you did.
And I know you said that in a prior meeting, that there was some
No, it's okay.
determination, but I confirmed with the AG's office that they have not made any determinations.
I'm not talking about determinations on meanwhile, I'm talking about, that's fine. You don't need the thing from the Attorney General, that's fine.
We're not gonna share an email account for various reasons.
Does that say welcome?
Don't, sorry. What are you doing?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you just said part of the
Why don't we
password.
yell up the password? No, you need to get the password renewed, please. I mean,
There's a
don't
ton extra, but whatever.
you please just go with Jacob, because you probably need to
Okay.
redo it.
Alright, let's move on.
I mean, once somebody quits, it's good practice to change all the passwords related to that person, including the computer. All right. How about on the topic of hiring an interim clerk?
Did we already do that?
We did an interim, duties until we get somebody.
I'll
but-
make a motion that if we can hire an interim clerk, let's do it.
Can you just state it, just to hire an interim clerk?
Let's hire an interim clerk.
I have to type it out exactly.
Second, that motion.
Any further discussion?
No.
we did not receive any bids for the tree work along the solar array. I talked to town council, and they said that we can do an amendment to the bid and extend the deadline, which our next meeting will be February 28th. So, our next meeting will be the February 28th, and so we should put the due date by February 28th, 6 p.m. I don't know, I'll have to try to talk to the highway department again. But I have previously asked them, and they said that they wouldn't be able to accommodate.
So DPW will not be able to do any work over there?
I previously talked to them, and they said they didn't have the equipment to be able to do that, which I found interesting, because it's just chainsaws, really, in a chipper. I don't know if we have that stuff or not.
What is our budget for hiring this person to do this job?
We don't have a budget, we have to just get the bids and pick the lowest reasonable bid that is most qualified. And then, remember, Tom Reagan attended the meeting, and he had stated how that money would be appropriated.
So the DPW lacks a chipper and
I don't know, but
That
they
was when Ryan-
previously had told me that they weren't able to.
Well, I'm just wondering if it would be economical if the town would just either rent the equipment and DPW uses that. I mean, I don't see this being as a
I'd be
big
fine
project,
with
right?
that, I'd be fine with that, but I've talked this over, and this is the information that Kelly gave me, the tree bid template. I mean, she's works with the select board, we had Tom Reagan here, and no time did the select board or the town administrator, on the many times I've brought up this topic, ever said that they would have the town highway department do the work. It's not my place to give the town highway department work, and I don't know if they're still down a few people, but they were.
Okay.
So that's part of it too, it's pretty labor intensive. I think we just have to extend it and try again. Did you post it on the top town website?
It's on the town website.
Okay. I mean, I did get an inquiry from one person and sent them the packet, actually 2 people, but they just haven't gotten them, so. So we'll do that.
So, we need a motion?
Yes.
Alright, I'll make a motion to extend the bid application deadline till February 28th at 6 p.m.
It's amend the invitation for bids to February 28th.
Yep.
At 6 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, I should just make the motion. Okay, second that. Any other discussion?
No.
Do you want to? Anyone want to check with the town highway one more time?
I'll check with them and see.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chris, did you say?
I did say that.
Okay. All right, so the board review of the open meeting law complaint by Christopher Kelleher. Chris, I just have one thing to say, because I spoke to an attorney on this matter. The complaint that you made was greater than 30 days old, so the board will not entertain the complaint. The AG's office will be notified of that response. And additionally, as this is your 5th complaint to the board, the response will include a request for the state to provide a mediator from the AG's office to intervene and to make a determination. that. All right, the last topic is public
Excuse
comment.
me, I'd like to raise a point of order, Madam Chairman.
What is your point?
My point is, under the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for open meeting law complaints, the Attorney General instructs the body the following. After review within 14 days, the public body must respond to the complaint in writing, and it must complain to the body must get down. Hold on one second. Okay. The public, all right, so after review within 14 business days, the public body must respond to the complaint in writing and must send the complaint to the response and a description of any action the public body has taken to address it. At the same time, the body must send the Attorney General a copy of the response. The public body may delegate this responsibility to its counsel, a staff member, but only after it has met to review the complaint.
Yep, but yours is more than 30 days old.
I understand that, but what they're saying here is that we, as a body, would decide whether this would go over to an attorney or we delegate it to one member, and we just don't do that. Every single time that I make an open meeting law complaint, it gets a response directly from you, bypassing the democratic process of this body making a decision on how they want to process the complaint. And a complaint doesn't necessarily have to go to the Attorney General every single time for review. It's an opportunity for the body to say, hey, there's a problem, let's fix it, it's resolved. We can tell the Attorney General, we fix it on our own. But we never take that path. We always take the path of resistance, argumentative, and combativeness.
Chris,
I think you need
you made a point of order,
I did.
and I asked you a point, and
My-
then you went into discussion.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I'm just gonna, for the,
My point of order is that the body never decided how they were going to handle this thing, as it says right in here in the instructions from the Attorney General's office. We're not following that rule.
okay, well, point taken. And so, I'm gonna make a motion that the board does not entertain the complaints, and that the board requests mediation to resolve the complaint.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No. Madam Chairman, before we go over to the public comments, I have 5 motions I'd like to make to the body. They're pretty short.
Excuse me, what, 5 motions?
They're short.
For what topic?
I'd like to have an item placed on the agenda. The item I'd like to have placed on the agenda is at our last meeting, Christina made a motion to have something placed on the.
Can you just state your motion?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we put on the next meeting's agenda the item that Christina asked for to be on the agenda at our last meeting to be on for tonight's meeting. Because she was told that it was already on the agenda and it is not.
This is like a paragraph now. Can you make a motion?
I'm making a motion that we put on the agenda for our next meeting, whatever it was that Christina asked to be on our agenda for last meeting. I don't remember what else. You can help me.
Just gonna email to ask again, but.
Okay,
Yeah, I would like to put everything on the agenda.
okay.
These meetings get long, and we don't have
Okay.
support right now.
I'm just gonna.
So we're gonna
Okay,
put,
that's
for
fine. Okay,
what topic?
Christine says she's gonna ask, so we can strike that one. That's one down. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we take a re-vote on an item that was at our last meeting. It's actually, excuse me, it's not a re-vote. There was a motion made, it was seconded, no vote was taken. And I'd like to have that redone. Since the motion was made, it was seconded, and there was no vote.
What was it?
Are we going into discussion?
Well, if you're making a motion, you need to have some specifics around it.
Okay, so last meeting, I made a motion that we put Chris Gorham's issue on tonight's agenda. And then after I made that motion, I said, hey, can we make that a standing motion? I'd like to make a motion that if a citizen comes up, asks us a question in the public comment section, that we make a reasonable effort to find out their answer and to put it on for our next meeting. That's what my.
She answered it.
So that was my motion. Christina, you seconded it. Christina, you seconded it, and we never took a vote.
No.
No,
I don't remember.
we never did.
Okay.
So I would like to make the motion that we take that vote, so that because we never did.
The vote for Chris specifically?
No, Chris, I agree. I said Chris, and I think I don't remember how that vote went. But then I elaborated, said I'd like to make a new motion that if anytime a citizen comes up and asks us a question in the public comments, and that we make a reasonable effort to give them an answer the next time that they come.
Well, Chris, sometimes.
And you seconded it.
Okay, well, all right.
We just forgot to take a vote. That's all I'm asking for. We take a vote so that policy is in effect. Because right now,
Well, let's make a new motion.
it's the same motion.
Well, I think there needs to be discussion then. So
Okay, so I'd like
let's
to make a motion. My motion is that if a member of the public comes to us in the public comments, like Mr. Gorman did, and asks a question, that we make a reasonable effort to provide them an answer, so they don't have to come here 3 meetings in a row and be told, sorry, we can't talk to you because we're forbidden. That we make a reasonable effort to get them an answer for the next meeting.
I would like to amend that motion that if the answer can be responded to by phone or an email, that is also a reasonable attempt. That we don't need to wait till the next meeting. Because some of those questions, like, why doesn't the town highway department do it, is first of all not in our purview to be able to say, but secondly, it's an easy phone call.
Alright, I second the motion and the amendment.
So, yeah, I'm just so I understand it, so if the citizen comes and asks us a question, we're gonna say, okay, they don't have to wait for the next meeting, we're gonna give them a phone call or email. Is that gonna be delegated to somebody, or are we just gonna say, we're gonna do it on a case-by-case basis?
It's case by case.
Okay, that sounds good. So, I'm fine with
Let's
that.
let's get the motion down so that it gets clear in the minutes.
I think we're good, so we're good.
I'm not, and I'm doing the minutes, so.
So the motion is that if a resident comes before us, asks a question, that we make a reasonable effort to give them an answer to their question, that we don't just take public comments as.
How about just end it at a reasonable answer to their question?
To the question.
Whether it's the next meeting or phone or email isn't relevant, so, all right.
And we'll do it as a case-by-case basis, so like if it's highway department, whoever has the best relationship with highway department, say, hey, I can contact Joe, I'll do it, or, but.
Well, I think if it's for another department, you can also ask the resident to contact the correct department versus putting the Board of Health members in the position of having to do
Sure.
that work.
Let me see.
And was there a
Leave
second?
it up to the chair, so it's not up for debate.
So we're gonna leave it up to the chair to decide who makes the
Yes.
contract? Okay, I'm good with that. But we're gonna tell that member of the public
Yes.
that night that,
Yeah.
we're on,
Yes.
okay. That's perfect, thank you.
Well,
I second all of that.
any further discussion?
No,
All in favor?
aye. Alright, I'd like to make a motion that, that we put an end, to we stop with the side conversations? This happened 3 times in a row on our October meeting before that, and last meeting when Christina was huddled in with you, Maureen, you guys were talking about something on a piece of paper, and I couldn't hear it. I would like those private conversations, whatever you want to call them, to come to an end. We should be deliberating in open public. There should be no side hustles, no side conversations, no side lies.
I don't agree that there's private conversations, so.
Okay,
It's like me going over.
No, don't discuss it.
okay, that's fine. That motion will fail for lack of a second.
Any other motion?
That was it.
Okay.
Public comment. As before, if anyone, I don't see anyone who signed in that stated they want public to speak, but I'm gonna catch some of the other names, but just. I put your name down.
Oh, okay.
But are you wanting to speak?
Yes.
There's another couple, I can't see one of you. I just need your name and address so that.
Richard Demetrius, 67 North Street, West Warren, Mass.
Can you spell your last name?
D-E-M-E-T-R-I-U-S.
I-U-S?
R-I-U-S.
Okay, and, sorry, the name of the street again?
North Street.
Okay. And your name is?
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Okay.
Same address.
Okay. And did you need to speak? Okay. All right. No one else, so it's you, David.
I guess I'm up.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. I noticed we lost our secretary, Pam, and it was due to all the chaos on this board. Thank you, Chris. She directly quit because of you. Took us 8 months to get her, and now we have nobody again. The chaos continues, and this board's trying to get their work done, and you just continue. You took me to court again, as you know, you lost. That's the second time now, and this is a public forum, and all you do is talk about the laws. And you're the hypocrite, you're the one that breaks the laws, you're the one who constantly is inferior with the laws. You are. And all you're doing is bullying these 2 other board members who are trying to get their work done. You're bullying them and you're harassing them, and then you go and say other people are harassing you. You're ashamed in this town. You're disrespectful to the board. You're disrespectful to the townspeople, and you haven't changed. You're still the same person you were when you got on this board back in June. You should be ashamed of yourself. So why don't you try to work with the board and bring this town forward with what we need to do? Because we got a lot of problems in this town, and you certainly aren't helping them. You and your friend over there, David Fromm, all you do is cause chaos, total chaos. So see what you can do for your next meeting.
Alright.
I put your name down here, so you want to say yes?
Yeah.
You talking?
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to speak. Now that we've heard from the town's leading misogynist defending the women on the board, the coward who uses a yellow sign by the side of the road to talk about the women of this town actually do things, and this stage to criticize the only member of this board who has the guts to stand up to the absolute ridiculousness of this board. The fact that minutes are constantly misrepresented and falsified, the legitimate open meeting law complaints that have been filed that never get discussed, and people who claim they're for open government and yet do everything behind closed doors and in secret. It's okay, it'll all come out. All of the secret agendas, the nuisance violations, the noisome trade nonsense that tries to control this town. We have been hijacked by an abject agenda. Someone who is very, very eager to control aspects and elements of our lives, assisted by a vice chair who has absolutely no business being on a board that inspects her businesses, probably more than any other business in this town. I have never seen this level, and I've been to Boston. I have never seen this level of inappropriateness, perhaps corruption. Now, notwithstanding your flying monkeys who come to support you every time, this board gets almost nothing done. Just waits for you to pass your law. So why not do it? Let's get to it. There's only one reason you ever got elected, you ever wanted to get elected. It's the same agenda you had in 2018, and now we know. The illegal cannabis ban. Let's talk about that. Let's get the Newsom law going. We're wasting a lot of time here pretending that you're running an actual board.
Actually, 8 seconds more.
It's okay, I'm done with this board.
Madam Chairman, I do have a piece of paper I have to get to the body. It's an open meeting law complaint. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
What time?
7:10.
Second or third?
All in favor?
Aye. Did you get
I didn't send them out though, so we'll have to vote next time, or I'm gonna them on the floor. They're on the agenda though, so they can, they're short.
Yeah.
It's just like 2 sentences, like 3 sentences. I'll print them out, have everything ready for tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm coming here, I just wanted to,
I don't know.
yeah, I'll put together all the packets and stuff in the agenda for you guys tonight.
I took a look at Spencer's Cable Access. Pretty impressive. Even their stage, what do they call it? It's very impressive.
Listen, we have like